Next News, breaking news.
September 9th and 10th, Dallas, Texas. And one sentence from Donald Trump just blew up the consultant class. For the first time ever, the Republican Party will hold a midterm convention. That's not a rally. That's not a donor dinner. That is Trump grabbing the midterms by the throat before Hakeem, Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, and the dead media parasites even know what hit them. He paired the announcement with a promise to celebrate the great American comeback. When the America First wins, the regime swore would never happen. Now add the Supreme Court smashing spending limits on parties the same day, and you can feel the panic already. See, this matters because Trump just built the exact machine weak Republicans never built. A turnout machine, a message machine, and a governing machine at the same time. Dallas is not random. Trump chose a city big enough to turn a convention into a national call-up for workers, first responders, manufacturers, small business owners, innovators, and every voter who cashed in on America First victories like no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, stronger borders, safer communities, and energy dominance. He is converting policy wins into electoral muscle. In the timing, it hits like a hammer. The Supreme Court ruled in NRSC versus the FEC. That's the FECA's coordinated expenditure limit violate the First Amendment. Translation, the old speech choke collar that protected incumbents and boxed in party coordination just got ripped off. Democrats spent years rigging the rules to suffocate populist energy. Now that wall is cracking just as Democrats face a cash problem and Republicans sit on major resources. That's why the media want you sleepy. Trump wants you mobilized. See, Trump picked Dallas because winning requires resources and urgency. And the same logic applies to your own future. Now think about it. If you could have bought oil before the world depended on it, you would. Noble Gold Investments says silver is the next oil and deserves the same look. It's a critical resource in solar panels, electric vehicles, defense systems, AI infrastructure, and massive data centers. Growing demand keeps climbing, yet silver is still affordable. So the average American can start accumulating physical silver and protect against inflation with strategic resources and the metal the future depends on. Go to nextnewsgold.com, and when you mention my name and open a new qualified account, Noble Gold will send you a 1/10 ounce gold coin. Noble Gold gets where this fight is headed. And Trump is moving early for a reason. So one detail makes this even sharper, and most people missed it. The Supreme Court case did not just hand Republicans more room to fight. The slip opinion, it spells out that at the start of the litigation, then candidate for Senate J.D. Vance had standing, and Vice President Vance still maintains an active statement of candidacy for a Senate run in 2028. Read that again. The Trump-Vance movement did not wait for permission from the FEC priesthood. It kept pressing until the court smashed the rule. And hold that thought, because I'm going to show you the tweets that are pouring into the newsroom, and it's going to show you exactly why this matters. So President Trump now confirming he and the Republican Party will be hosting a midterm convention in Texas in September. A new concept in modern history. Trump wants to amp up voters for the midterms. We're going to celebrate the great American comeback and the incredible success of the American people who transformed our country through the America First agenda. It will be held on September 9th and 10th in Dallas, Texas. So President Trump posting on Truth Social, I'll read part of it. He says, big news, for the first time ever, the Republican Party will hold a midterm convention. It'll be in Dallas, Texas, one of my favorite places. It'll be fantastic. It's never been done. It'll be historic. We're going to celebrate the great American comeback and the incredible success of the American people who transformed our country through the America First agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, Social Security, strong borders, safest ever communities, lower costs, real affordability, more jobs, American energy dominance, and so much more. Oil prices are dropping even as we denuclearize Iran. We're delivering on the promises that politicians talked about for decades but never got done. The event will have hardworking Americans, innovators, entrepreneurs, manufacturers, first responders, job creators who are powering our nation's golden age and proving America's best days are still ahead of us. So Trump laying it out himself. Dallas, September, all out America First rally to fire up the base. Now, here's Brett Baer with the straight news angle on why Republicans see this first ever midterm convention as key to protecting the razor-thin majorities.
Republicans will hold their first ever national convention ahead of the midterm elections. President Trump making that announcement just moments ago on Truth Social. The event is an effort to boost turnout in races that will decide whether the Republican Party maintains control of Congress. Republicans have only slim majorities in the House and the Senate. The convention will be held in Dallas, September 9th and 10th.
So Fox frames this as a turnout play to hold Congress. Real America's Voice takes it a step further, with Mike Davis arguing Trump is going on offense while Democrats are flat-footed.
Yeah, all right. A little breaking news. Just a few minutes ago, President Trump broke another tradition. He, for the first time, a major political party is going to have an off-year convention. It's going to be in September in Dallas. The midterms are going to be kicked off on the Republican side with a convention, something the Democrats have no plans for. Another way that Trump breaks the mold and does something different. Your thoughts on that big announcement just a few seconds ago?
I love it. President Trump always finds a way to go on offense, and this is a way to go on offense. People think that we're just going to sit back and lose this midterm election like off parties. The president's party doing off-year elections. We're going to fight. We did a fantastic job largely winning the redistricting fight. We're going to stay on offense, and Republicans are going to pull the rabbit out of the hats and keep the House and keep the Senate after this midterm election.
So the offensive mindset may be getting back up from the courts. ABC reports the Supreme Court just knocked down spending limits on party coordination with federal candidates before the midterms. Supreme Court has rolled back long-standing limits on the amount of money political parties can spend in coordination with individual candidates for federal office, a ruling that could unleash a new wave of spending before the midterms. So ABC gives you the ruling. Now the political math. Dustin Grage says the decision could be a game changer because Democrats are cash-strapped while Republicans are sitting on some serious money. He says Republicans may have just won the midterms with this decision. There are no longer federal limits on how much money a political party can spend in coordination with their candidates. Democrats have more debt than cash on hand, while Republicans have hundreds of millions on hand. And here is the ruling from the Supreme Court. So more money helps, but cash alone doesn't win fights. Next, Ralph Reed delivers a blunt warning that Democrats are mobilizing hard and Republicans better match the intensity.
They are coming, and they are coming in the biggest numbers we have ever seen in a midterm election, and they are coming with unlimited resources. Unlimited. Do you know, as we gather here tonight, that 4 million more Democrats have voted in primaries than Republicans? 12.6 million Democrats, 8.6 million Republicans. In my home state of Georgia, more Democrats than Republicans voted in a gubernatorial primary for the first time in 24 years. And they didn't even have a contest. They didn't really even have a competitive primary. That's an indication of what's coming. So we need to leave here and rededicate ourselves that we will work even harder than we did in 2024. Because if we don't, they will win the House, they will win the Senate, and the Trump presidency will be over after 2 years. They will investigate him, they will impeach him, subpoenas will fly in this city like heat-seeking missiles.
So his message is simple. Work harder or watch the left swarm the field. Steve Bannon now raises his stakes, warning this movement needs maximum action now because the other side is coming for everything.
And I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop. They are getting more and more and more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action, more urgency. We're burning daylight. If you look across every aspect of this, we have to codify what President Trump has done by executive order, right? We have to codify it. And people say, well, they're just going to be messing bills and pass Senate. We got to put aside these structural barriers and get on with it. President Trump today gave to the Senate when they came over for breakfast. Even Lindsey Graham, some of the guys that liked, and some of these institutions, I understand. This is a very tough decision to make. And you're going to see some people in the conservative movement that not in a million years, because I talked to him today, quite frankly, I had Hawley on the show this morning, Josh Hawley, and he's talking about it. And I'm trying to play the institution. Well, they called me up this afternoon and said, let's go through the 10 reasons we need to do it. And these are heavy hitters on what I would call the constitutional, the limited government constitutionalist in our movement. And they're about to come out over the next couple of days and make this argument because it said, look, we have to understand that if we don't take this to the maximum, a maximalist strategy now with a sense of urgency, and in doing this, seize the institutions, if we don't do that now, we're going to lose this chance forever because you're never going to have another Trump, right? You're just not going to have it.
You're not going to have another Trump or another chance to save this republic. So here's the moral hit. Democrats and their media bodyguards wanted Republicans trapped in the old script. Sleepwalk into an off-year election. Mumble stale talking points, let the donor class run the map, and pray Trump's momentum carries everybody. Well, Donald Trump just torched that script. He announced the first ever GOP midterm convention in Dallas, September 9th and 10th. And on the same day, the Supreme Court blew up a restriction that the Federal Election Commission and the Democrat machine used to choke coordinated political speech. Chuck Schumer wants paralysis. Hakeem Jeffries wants chaos and subpoenas. Trump wants mobilization. He's not waiting for permission from consultants or cocktail circuit frauds. He's building the battlefield before the enemy finish lacing its boots. So treat this story like the opening gun, because that's exactly what it is. Trump did not announce Dallas to entertain cable bookers. He announced Dallas to turn the great American comeback into votes, volunteers, money, and pressure on every race that decides whether America First keeps governing or whether Democrats seize a chamber and launch impeachment theater all over again. Ralph Reed put the numbers on the threat. Steve Bannon put person and subpoena urgency on the threat. Trump answered with action. Early action, bold action, the kind of action Republicans should have taken years ago. September 9th and 10th now stand on the calendar like a test. Do Republicans coast because the news feels good, or do patriots lock in these wins and widen the majority? Drop your take in the comments and send this to one person who still thinks the midterms are far away. And keep your eyes on Dallas. That city just became the front line. And you're also the front line. And that's why I want to make sure you are informed. That's why I set up this telephone number for you. 844-840-4963. Thousands of patriots have already texted the words raw feed to that number. Because they're the front line. They're getting the notifications that YouTube never sends because I'm sending them directly to them. Join the front line by staying on the inside track with the news that matters to you and your family. And we're at the 250th birthday for this great republic. Celebrate with us by going to the merch shelf below this video or checking out something at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power. I want you to see this. Truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.